we've gotten our ball to bounce off the paddles, but it's not really good enough. We want the ball to bounce off at a different angle depending on where on the paddle it hits. So open up the object ball and select the Object Player Blue collision event. We're going to delete this bounce against all objects action that we put in there last episode, and we are going to come over to our move actions and select this move free, which is right next to the moved fixed. Drag that over, and to determine the direction of the bounce, we are going to use a little formula. There are several formulas that we could use, but this one is pretty simple. So we are going to type object underscore player underscore blue dot y minus y. So what this is doing is determining the y position of the object player blue, which is the paddle, and then subtracting the y of the ball. So for example, if the object player blue was at a y position of 100 and the ball was at 50, then it would calculate and return a value of 50. That 50 in the direction box would then correlate to 50-degree bounce. Likewise, if the paddle was at 100 and the ball was at 150, then we would get a negative 50 direction, or an angle of a negative 50. When you have a value or parameter where we have an object name and then a dot something, that dot can basically be thought of as an apostrophe s. In this case, object player blue dot y is calling the y property or the y variable of object player blue. We can use this method to specify and call a number of properties for any given object. The second parameter we need to fill out here is the speed, and we are going to set the speed to speed. This will basically mean that the speed is equal to its current speed, which in the last video we set to be 12. However, we're also going to add 0.3. So now, when it hits a paddle, the ball will speed up slightly so that as the game goes on, the ball moves faster and the ball becomes harder to keep up with. So, hit OK. And now we need to set up the orange player. We can delete the bounce action that we put in there last time and drag in the move free action again. This formula is a bit more complex, and I'm not really going to spend the time to explain it, so this is going to be one of the few times that I will say just copy. So we need an opening parentheses. We're going to type 180 minus object underscore player underscore orange dot y end parentheses. And then outside the parentheses, plus y. Again, you can just put in some arbitrary numbers and test the formula, see what it actually does, but this will give us the same angle of bounce that we are getting from the blue player object. We also want to set the speed to current speed plus 0.3. Click OK. Finally, we want to make the object ball a solid object, so click the solid checkbox. However, we don't want to make the paddles solid because I found that during testing that actually causes a little bit of a problem and creates bugs when we program an AI. So click OK and let's test this. And what we should see here is that if we hit the ball close to the middle, we will get a shallow angle of bounce, but if we hit it on an edge, whoops, missed it, we should get a shallower angle. Which doesn't really seem to be the case. There we go. That seemed a little bit... Yeah, you can see as you hit it in the middle of the paddle, it is very flat. But when you hit it on a corner there, it's a very steep and sharp angle. Okay, well, that's enough of that. So our game is definitely playable, but right now it'll just go on forever. So in the next video, we'll set up a scoring system and make it so that one player or the other can win.